What's up, guys? Army-Firedawg back again. So let's try using this GoPro camera out one more time, because the audio in the Samsung Galaxy S7 I was using has been driving not just you guys but me crazy as well, trying to edit that thing. Hearing audio come out of one ear is a bit irritating. So anywho, today I actually have the review time of the Monster Diamondz. This is by far one of the most beautiful, aesthetically beautiful headphones I have ever to date seen. Just entirely throughout has just been really, really well done. But let's just jump into it, shall we? And as always, I like to start with the construction of it. So the construction is honestly about what I'd expect from a mainstream brand such as Monster in this price point. It's almost entirely plastic, not the highest quality of plastic, but it looks really, really nice. Like, it's not cheap feeling, but at the same time it's not premium either. It's just more aesthetically pleasing. The only aluminum I can find is on the interior frame here and on the hinges right here. Oh, and yes, it does fold inwards like this. So in terms of structural integrity, the construction's meh. Now, aesthetically, as I was saying, this thing is gorgeous. The headband is actually a silicone, which I have today I don't think I've ever seen. It's not a padding per se, but it's silicone. And I'll touch more on that in the comfort section. The pads are made of less than premium material, as in it's about what I'd expect to see on a entry-level headphone. I'll touch more on that in the comfort section. The outer edge, though, like I said, is a very aesthetically pleasing plastic. Even the GoPro camera is nowhere near going to get just how stunning this thing is. The reds have it's just like an exotic. It dances gorgeously with the blues, the purples, and then whilst the yellow and oranges kind of look like just a beautiful sunset, which just further accentuates the color scheme this has. It's like the best rainbow you can ever imagine seeing after that of like a bad storm. Now moving down to the comfort. The comfort is all but abysmal. This thing has, well, first off, it's a supraoral headphone, excuse me, which just that in and of itself is kind of a negative for me personally. But taking that bias aside, it has such pressure points. The way it's designed, as you can see here, it tries to match the contours of the ear, but in essence it creates a pressure point here and here. Add that to the unnecessarily stiff clamping force of the Diamondz, and you have a rather uncomfortable experience. For me personally, I can barely get 20 minutes without starting to be uncomfortable. 30 minutes, it's actually starting to physically hurt. And I'm sorry, headphones should not hurt. They're designed, you should be listening to them for long periods of time. You should be able to enjoy them without feeling displeasure. Which brings me to one of my points, and this ties back to the construction, but these are almost guaranteed to be made just for an accessory. They come in quite a few different colors, 5 I think, but they make a beautiful accessory, and they do actually turn heads. When I was listening to these while writing my review, quite a few times I was stopped by mostly females who said that's the most beautiful headphone they've seen. They've never seen anything like it, and they wanted some more information on it. And in essence, if you just want to look good as a great accessory, then these will absolutely hit you up your alley. They're just not comfortable to wear. So now let's talk about what's arguably the most important part of the headphone, and that's the sound. So with the Diamondz, they're coming into listening to it, I thought it was going to be a very prominent V-shaped sound curve based on them being mainstream and being Monster as well. Mainstream and Monster are both a V-shaped sound curve prominently, with the great emphasis on the bass line. So coming into the Diamondz, I was expecting something similar. However, The Diamond Tears almost had kind of like an S shape sound curve to it. And I'll jump more into the individual aspects here in a minute. But the treble was a bit recessed. Like it was notably recessed or pushed back. The midsection, and this is just a quick synopsis as well. The midsection was very inconsistent, but yet also I want to say it was respectably equal. It wasn't really forward nor recessed, but it was inconsistent. And I'll touch more on that here when I get into the mids. The bass, however, was what I expected and what Monster's known for. It's known for being very bloated, very impactful. And I have a really good analogy. I was very proud of myself. I hope you guys get it. My headphile friends didn't understand it, but I hope you guys get my reference. I was really proud of it. But anywho, so, and before I jump into individuals as well, the soundstage was also quite interesting. As in, most sound stages is a nice circle, like a great prominent circle. Some of them are oval shaped and yada yada. The Diamond Tears are very rectangular. Now, what I mean by that is the depth of it is very narrow. Most of the artists, or no, pretty much everything I listened to was very in my face. So there wasn't no like layering to it. I couldn't tell, okay, here's the trombones, here's the drums here, and here's the saxophones here. No, they all sounded quite in my face with a little bit of separation somewhat. However, the space, the horizontal space, was respectably vast. I could tell instrument separation. I couldn't tell exactly where they were in the orchestra, but I could tell them apart from another. And that's at least something. And this price point is still to be considered. Now, also before, you have imaging. I usually tie this into just a synopsis or the summary of it. But the imaging, the Diamondz have it. However, you have to want to experience it. They won't just drift you away and force you to imagine that experience. You have to close your eyes and focus on the music for you to really get the visualization of what you're listening to. Like I said, the Diamond Tears' main focus is not for audiophilia or for your audio enthusiasts. They're really not, which is kind of defeats the purpose of what most of us listen for. But the Diamond Tears are a very fun headphone to listen to. They're meant to dance, bob your head, just enjoy your music, and not really give a crap about the nitpicks. So I do keep that into consideration when I give my reviews. But let me jump into the individual aspects so I can explain my pretenses a little bit better. And like I said, I like to start with treble. The highs on the Diamondz is notably recessed. A good example of the artist I listen to is Lindsey Sterling. I love listening to her. I have every one of her CDs because she is a very upbeat artist. Almost every one of her songs are energy-filled, beautiful, stunning, vibrant, just full of life. And I love it when my headphones can portray that same emotion and energy to me. But when I listen to the Diamond Tears, however, the violin just sounds like it's there. It's like a accessory piece versus the main stage, which is what it is. The violin's the main focus of her music, obviously. But anyway, it's fun listening to them on the Diamondz. However, like I just said, you just don't get that sense of energy transfer. It's just kind of, oh, that's nice. Yeah, there's a violin playing. Okay. Now when you move up, you have the midsection, and the mids, as I mentioned earlier, again they're interesting. As in, it doesn't matter if I'm listening to male or female vocals, everywhere from the artist from Diva Dance to Trace Adkins to, it came on, I don't know her name, I don't care, but it came up on rotations. The woman from Let It Go. Some of them sound great, other ones sound so recessed, like they're almost whispering to you, which I know is not the case. But overall, the mids sound quite flat honestly not with respect to price, but they sound pretty flat overall. It's inconsistent. I wish on the zoom, when I can zoom up on the mid-range frequency graph, and I bet it's doing this. I bet it has. I've looked a couple graphs up, and some of them say some say the other. But just from my experience, it's like you have a flat range, but if you zoom into this flat range, it's doing this. Like I said, y'all guys know me. I love mids. I love feeling that emotion. But it's aggravating when I'm listening to music and some artists sound great and others sound like you have to turn up the volume just to be able to hear them singing. That drives me bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Even my favorite songs I use for review, I know what they sound like, and these are drastically underperforming in some mids, and in other mids they sound great. So that's potentially another negative, but again, for fun listening, don't really pay attention to the mids. That's why V-shape's more popular. Now, moving to the bass. The bass absolutely lives up to what Monster is known for. They're very bloatful, they're very impactful, it's very fun bass. And about the analogy I was proud of earlier, and it just hit me when I was typing up my review, is the bass reminds me of that of a giant warhammer, like a two-handed warhammer. It's massive impact. Like when that thing hits, everyone around it knows it's hit. However, in having so much force and weight, it sacrifices its speed and recovery. Now, when I was on my warhammer, I was like instantly doing my analogy of its relation to audio, but I'll explain and maybe y'all can get a kick of it too. But so you have the warhammer, it's very impactful. Bass has a very strong impact. When it hits, it's fun. You know it's there. You experience it. However, it's a very slow to hit. It kind of has it takes a second to get to you, and then also once it finally does hit, it bleeds into the next note. The recovery, it's not tight. It doesn't hit and go away. It hits and then has to recover itself, which bleeds into the next note. Or notes, depending on what kind of music you're listening to. Techno is a great genre to experience that with. Alright, but so that's actually about it. So to sum up the Diamondz, which is also, I forgot to mention earlier, it's a collaboration between Monster and JYP Entertainment. It's a aesthetically beautiful headphone. One of the most stunning headphones I've ever seen. And if you remember from the unboxing video, they also spent a lot of time, and probably a good bit of the funds you're paying for this in this headphone is in the aesthetics and the unboxing experience, which is what the container's made out of. It's a very fun headphone to listen to. If you just want a headphone to enjoy your music, bob your head, dance on the ground with, and just enjoy your music and also look dang good while doing it, the Diamondz are most likely going to be a great headphone for you. They are very fun to listen to if you have a very, very small head. Like, I can't recommend those to anyone only because they are so uncomfortable to wear. For myself and also Christina, she has smaller ears and they still hurt her. That's why